for to help cure those problems.
So certainly these days a lot of people are using a Chapter 13 when they are upside down in their house. And how could a Chapter 13 assist them if they were upside down in the house and I assume unable to make their payments?
Well, in the Central Florida area here, and also in Alabama and in Georgia, we're in the 11th Circuit, there was a decision that allows us to strip off a second mortgage when they owe more on their first mortgage than what the house is worth. So that second mortgage gets stripped off, and then we go to try to deal with the modification of the first mortgage. Well, we're not allowed to modify the mortgage by using the bankruptcy code. We do have a program here in the Orlando division started by Lori Weatherford, who's Chapter 13 trustee, and the judges that has been phenomenally successful in modifying those mortgages and helping people keep their homes.
So I'm hearing two key things there, and that is Chapter 13 allows them to strip off the second mortgages, and that's where a lot of people got in trouble when their houses went up so greatly in value. All of a sudden they have these huge equity lines available to them. Those in a certain circumstances under Chapter 13 can be wiped out.
That's correct.
And then what you're telling me as far as Chapter 13, the actual law itself, there's nothing within the 13 that can force a bank to modify the first mortgage terms, but in fact it's being done.
Yes, it is, and they modified the HAMP regulations back in November of 2010 to specifically mention Chapter 13 bankruptcy and to have regulations that apply to Chapter 13.
And so when you are doing a Chapter 13 for a client, there's still a trustee involved, I assume, right?
Yes, and that's a Chapter 13 trustee whose job is mainly just to collect and disperse to the creditors.
Well, whose job is it to negotiate with the first mortgage lender to modify the terms? Is that you or the trustee?
That's the debtor's attorney's job, and typically what we do is we would move for mediation and take it immediately into a mediation where the court would issue an order requiring the first mortgage holder to negotiate in good faith based upon the HAMP regulations or other internal regulations or programs that the bank has or the mortgage company has.
Would that be true even if the homeowner is not in default yet and a foreclosure has not yet been filed?
Yes, you can even try and get that accomplished. Even if they're current on their mortgages.
And so then, in your experience in these Chapter 13s and modifying first mortgages, you know, there are what's available to them is a lower interest rate, a reduction of the principal amount, and an increase in the number of years the loan is amortized over. What's typically being accomplished with a Chapter 13 bankruptcy?
Well, that is, of course, part of the negotiation process, but it is true that I have seen in Chapter 13 a reduction of the mortgage balance, restructuring or lowering of the interest rate, and even an adjustment of the term so that the debtor can afford the home.
All right, very good. Hey, Jim, we have a